twice a month on a Monday. I like to bring authors into my home. We talk about books, writing, and life as an author, and whatever comes to mind. And this evening, I have Ashley Cobb Post joining me. How are you this evening, my dear?
Just fine. Welcome to everybody in the audience, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for being here. I'm excited to talk to you. Before we get started, can you just give a little background on yourself, whatever you feel comfortable sharing with the rest of the world?
Okay, this is my fifth romantic suspense novel, and I became a indie published author when I was 60 years old at the beginning of COVID. You either read or write, and I wrote. So this is my fifth novel, and it takes place in I live in Charleston area, so it takes place in the Low Country and on Cape Cod. Because a good friend of mine who I've known for decades said, "You need to do one about Cape Cod," and so I combined the two.
Oh, good for you. Congratulations. Well,
Thank
congratulations on your
you.
new release. We're going to be talking about your latest book, which is Repressing the Flames. Flames?
Flames.
Flames.
Yes.
Now, do you have a cover of the book next to you so we can see it?
Yes.
Yay. And I apologize if it's coming out backwards, but the mirror image won't let me do it on Restream. But I love the cover. We're going to talk about the cover. Now, when did this book come out?
It came out actually the week I turned 65 years old. And yeah, it came out that Tuesday, June the 10th.
Congratulations. Now, you're like me. You had your first book published when you were 60. I discovered my
Correct.
passion for writing. Let me think. I'm giving away my age now. Reckless Beginnings came out in 2018, which is what, 7 years ago? So I
Mm-hmm.
was 60. No, I'm not that old. I was 55 when I had my
Oh,
book.
okay.
So we both found our passion for writing at a later age. Have you always loved to read and write, or was this something you discovered later in life? Not just the
Um,
writing, but reading, just the whole
yeah,
package.
my mother was into literacy. In fact, she was on the Literacy Council. She was part of Head Start program, and also she did the literacy program in the prison
Oh,
where
wow.
we lived close to. And so she would train the teachers that would go in to teach the prisoners to get their GEDs. And then my grandfather was an editor at his town newspaper. And when my mother went to college, one of her college professors was James Michener, who, if you're a
Yep.
reader, South Pacific was one of his novels. So one of us was going to get into writing somewhere.
And you were the one.
Yeah, I guess so.
I'm gonna just go back briefly to your very first book, which you
Mhm.
have to read. You'll have to refresh my memory. What was the name of that book?
Don't judge a book, dot, dot, dot. I
And
did
that
the
ended
dot
up being a trilogy or two books.
two books. That was my first book, and then I did a little mellower book, and then the third book, um, which was a journey to reprint, repentance and stuff. And so that was a two-parter. I hadn't planned on doing a two-parter. I will never do a sequel again. I don't
No.
know how you do a series. It was too hard. I had to keep journals and everything else so I wouldn't mix up the people's personalities and everything else
Yeah,
and their
that's one thing
physical
you.
appearance. But yeah, I got started and I've been very open about this. I am a survivor of childhood sexual trauma. And through the years, I wrote journals. And from these journals came my first book, A Journey to Repentance. And the main character, Francesca, is based on myself, like with your books, Reckless Beginnings.
Mhm.
The first and the third are kind of autobiographical.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry that happened to you, number
Yeah.
one. But it seems like writing the journals, writing these books based on that horrible experience must have been therapeutic and helped you immensely.
It was, as a matter of fact, right now, I am yeah, I've kind of taken a break in doing different kind of writing now because I don't know what possessed me at age 65. I said, hey, let's go to school full time and work full time.
Why not?
And so I'm completing my bachelor's in psychology, and I work as an outpatient coordinator at a mental health facility. And once I get my degree, then I'll be an inpatient therapist.
Congratulations. You're
Thank
never
you.
too old, too young to start a new journey in life. You
No,
never
right
are.
now, what I'm doing is a whole bunch of, yeah, like 3 essays a week for my psychology professor and my technology professor. But yeah, my psychology professor gets a kick out of me. For my midterm paper, it was on cultural influences on marriages. And I ended it with it could be love at first sight or others manipulating the factors, but the road to marriage has many avenues. And
I love
he's
that.
like, you just can't stop being a writer, can you? And I'm
You
like,
can't.
no.
You can't. No, you can't. I mean, I'll be doing everyday things around the house and stuff, but constantly my mind is on what I'm working on.
Hmm.
It could be I'm doing the dishes and, I might have just finished writing a chapter, but I'm anxious to go back up and continue writing. But I have other obligations I have to do, like dishes. Um, so yeah, but my mind, I don't know how to turn off my head. The only way I do turn off my head, and our readers know this, is my beading. I started doing this beading hobby,
I
and
saw that.
yeah, when I want to break from technology, computers, laptops, books, I just go straight into beading, and I have to concentrate on that. So that is for me, because there's some days where I just feel overwhelmed, and I'm sure you do the same. Not only are we writers, we
Hmm.
wear all of these hats with marketing, posting, sales, websites, social media, and it's just like enough. And I just have to break away. I just have to break away. And that's when I started doing this beading. And for me, it just regroups me, refreshes me. Okay, I'm ready for another round, but it just gets to the point where I just need to just pull away. Just pull away. Not that I don't enjoy it, but it's too much some days.
Hmm.
It's just too
Yeah,
much some
it
days. So I just
is.
need to break away.
Yeah,
Um,
I do, and I've picked up embroidery now.
there you
and
go.
it and it helps me because I can do I can be as detailed as I want, or I can be,
Yeah. And it's just,
redo a design, and if I'm
yeah.
in that mood.
And it's just something different away from books, social media, laptops, iPhones, iPads, cell phones. It's just a break from all of that. Because I'm sure you're the same, but when I'm doing anything regarding my books, it involves a computer, an iPhone, a laptop. It involves all of this stuff that I just need to pull away. Not saying I don't
Hmm.
love my books, I don't love to read, but I need to be doing something else too. And this beating is what is really helped a lot with my, I don't know, my peace of mind or my sanity, I guess you want to call it, my sanity. I do want to pause and say hello to some people that I've been totally ignoring. So let's see who's joining us. We have Janet. I'm going to pop them up on the screen. I know you know a lot of these people. Janet is here.
Renee.
I am talking to Ashley Cobb Post. We're talking about her latest book, Repressing the Flames. If you have any questions for Ashley, go ahead and put them in the comments, and I will try to get to as many as I can. We have Virgie Lane. She says hello. I'm just going down the list here. We have Connie. Hey, Connie.
Hi, Connie.
I'm glad
Hope
to
you're
hear
feeling
she's
better.
home from the hospital and doing okay. My thoughts are with you, Connie. Hang in there. You're doing great. We have Belinda. She says, hi, ladies. Virgie,
Hi.
did I pop up Virgie? I'm not sure. Virgie is here.
Yeah, I saw Virgie and Renee.
Okay, then we have Barbara Miller from Florida. Hey, Barbara. And we've got some congratulations on your book.
Thank
Then
you.
we have Carla Brown joining us. We have Lori Chasco. She says hello. Hold on, let me scroll down. Everyone's saying nice cover. Vicky is here. She says hello. Let me see. Amazing when you can discover your passion. That is from Laurie Chesko.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have Debbie Tyler. She says hi. Hey, Kamina's here. Hey, Kamina, how are you, my dear? Hi, Tina and Ashley. I can't believe Ashley made it to this live video. That's why I act surprised. You actually made it, Kamina. So she is here. She says hello. And then Laurie says that was a good book. I'm not sure if
Thank you. Yeah, she
Renee
read
is
that.
here. She says hello. Now, Virgie says frozen. I hope it's not frozen right now, Virgie. If it is, let me know. I'm not getting any freezing on my side. I don't see anyone else says frozen. Okay, I do see some questions, but we're going to come back to those in a minute. Before we get to the questions, let's talk about your latest book. Number one, I would like to know, let's see the cover one more time for those that joined us late. What inspired this book?
Okay. Well, the
Without giving too
story.
much away.
Yeah, I want. Okay. Well, before I started the job that I have now, I was doing taking care of doing home health care, taking care of a 90-year-old lady, and she told a lot of stories about her childhood, and so I took one of them, and it was actually, which I can't tell you what the event was. It's
Right.
based on historical event in the United States, happened like around the turn of the last century. And what I did was I modernized it, and then I flipped the ending of the way it ended.
Oh, okay. Now, the woman that told you these stories, does she know you? She inspired
Yeah,
your book?
as a matter of fact, I put her in the acknowledgement. She's still with us. Her name is Miss Elaine, and her daughter is the one who hired me. As a matter of fact, she's a big fan. I read her my last book, but she is very religious, so I did a G-rated reading of it. And so I'm sure her daughter has this one of my more spicier books. I pre-warn people there's 3 very spicy scenes in it. And she read her a G-rated version of it.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And all, but yeah, she's well aware that I put it, and I put her in the acknowledgement. And also something a little bit different with this book, which I've always said, an author friend of mine who's New York Times been writing for decades said, even though it's fiction, you must do the research. So I spent about 2 years on this and wanted to make it authentic. So this book, it alternates with male and female points of view.
Okay.
So God love him, my partner of 6 years. He was so happy when this book was done. He said, "My God, I'm so glad it's published." I felt like I was in therapy for 2 years, because whenever he'd come over, I would ask him all these questions. How would you react in these situations? Does this sound like something a guy would say? So yeah, he took it in stride, and because he's on the shy side, didn't want me to use his real name. In the acknowledgments it says to Shamar, because a lot of my friends say he looks like Shamar Moore, the actor.
Okay. Well,
So
that's sweet. I like that.
yeah.
And now also you dedicated this book to someone
Yeah,
special.
so you a picture. The 99-year-old Grandma Young is based on my Grandma Nini. She was
Oh,
very salt of the earth, had a glass of red wine, lived in the Rocky Mountains, had an orchard, had a vegetable garden. Everything was made from scratch. As a matter of fact, she taught me how to make mayonnaise from scratch.
yeah, you told me
And
that, and I'm like, I didn't know there
yeah,
was such a
I
thing.
didn't realize you
I'm
could.
used to seeing a jar of mayonnaise on the shelf, and
Yeah,
I'll
no,
take it.
it's not that hard, but yeah. And she would have fresh baked bread. She taught me how to bake and how to cook. So
Excellent.
I admire her a lot. I wish she was still around, but
I can
obviously,
understand that.
yeah. But in the book, she's 99 years old.
Okay. Um, so I love how the book, what inspired the book to write. Can you give us any kind of insight on what the book's about, again, without giving too much away?
Okay, well, you find out in the first chapter, and from the book cover. The title kind of has double meaning. One, Repressing the Flames Act. There's a, I like Connie's comment. I agree. Um, Repressing the Flames, there is a house fire. And also Repressing the Flames. This book is about two best friends that live on John's Island. They grew up on John's Island, and her grandma would hang out at her grandma's house growing up. John's Island is one of the coastal islands, part of Charleston. And Ella, the main character, Isabel Young, she is an English literature professor at College of Charleston, but her best friend Marcus takes a different route and goes into finance, goes up to college at Boston College, and then ends up on the Mid Cape in Yarmouth port of Cape Cod. And he is a banker there. And they're kind of through the years have been friends with benefits. She just broke up with Mr. Non-committal she was with for 2 years. He says, come up for the summer for a visit. And she does what is supposed to be 2 weeks. Different events happen, and it ends up being more, we'll just say more than 2 weeks. And things happen that end up following her back to Charleston. And so that's the mystery and she meets a couple of his friends, and the big mystery is which of the three of them are after her.
Oh,
So that's where the romantic
and it's
suspense
a
is in it.
standalone. You've made it clear you'll never write a series or a duet or a trilogy ever again.
No,
You're
not
done.
at all.
You're done. So this is a standalone. It's good to know. And
Yes.
also, I hate it when a question is in my head and it just leaves. Let's just okay. It'll come back to me. All right.
Renee says her grandma made mayonnaise.
Aw. Okay, which authors inspired you either to read for pleasure or enhance your writing?
Okay, from my mother, back in the olden days when we would do letter writing and then email, I fell in love with Mary Higgins Clark. And she was an author that started later in life. And her romantic suspense novels, that's probably why I chose the genre, are just amazing. It started out, I think her first book she did at 55 was called Where Are the Children? So yeah. And then right now through COVID, like you and I met, different Zooms, different things on Facebook, I've become friends with certain authors that write romantic suspense. Heather Gudenkamp, Lisa Unger, and Hank Phillip E. Ryan, all of those, and Kimberly Bell, and of course from over in the UK, I absolutely love Christina McDonald's novels, hers and B.A. Paris's.
Okay, some great authors. A few of those have been on this show too. Hank has been on this
know.
show.
I love everything Christina McDonald does.
Yeah, they're really great people and authors.
Yeah, I've become friends with them.
They are. Now you mentioned that your genre is romantic suspense. Now, is that for all of your books, including this one?
Yes.
All of them are romantic suspense, and they all have steam?
Yeah.
And what level on this book, let's say a level from 1 to 10, what level would you say this book is?
A 9. It's like Harlequin romance plus. Probably because I also got the guy point of view with some of these romantic scenes. That's why
That's up there.
Yeah, the first one but it's not, a friend of mine says it's a little erotica, but it's not pornographic. I was
Well,
like, okay.
to me, erotica is just all steam and no storyline. That to me is
Oh,
erotica.
okay. Yeah, no, it's not that. It
Yeah.
definitely
That
has a
is what I've always
storyline.
classified. If you just got page after page after page of just whatever couples
No,
want to
this
do
one
in
only
their
has,
bedroom or living room, whatever, and there's no story to it, to me, that's erotica.
yeah,
Steamy
no,
romance,
this one
romantic
has
suspense, has a
three
plot, but
definite
also gets
scenes.
steam.
Yeah.
Huh? What's
This
that?
one has three definite scenes, and then the others are kind of like playful banter.
Okay, there you go. That's fun. That's
Yeah.
always fun. But yeah, if there's a plot and a storyline, and I tell my
Oh yeah,
readers,
there's a definite plot in
and I
this.
tell my readers, if you don't like reading that, then just skip those pages and continue on with the story. And they, that way they don't miss out. Let's go through some more questions. Let's see. Virgie Lane, I'm way back up here, but we'll catch up. Are you a plotter or a pantser when it comes to writing your books?
Plotter. I outline everything to death. Even at work, I kind of drive my boss nuts because we get a schedule of appointments and I coordinate for two different areas and other projects that I do. I plot to death.
Really? See, I can't do that. We're totally opposite.
I know a friend of mine, well, Hank Philippi Ryan, she's a pantser. She knows the beginning, the middle. She kind of knows where she wants to go at the end, but until she gets there, she
Yeah, I have
doesn't
no
know it.
clue. I'm on chapter, I think, 11 of my next book. I have no idea what's going to happen in chapter 12. I have absolutely no clue until I write it. And I love that part. But I admire you for being able to plot and stick to it, because I would just
Probably,
totally go off course.
yeah.
Yeah.
My dad was a scientist, and so my mom was English and music, but my dad was the scientist. So
Yeah.
I think that's, and former military. So I think that's where I got that structure from.
Probably. And it's more organized than me. I'm going to sit down and go, well, now what am I going to write? But it comes to me. Or the characters tell me.
Oh yeah, I
Um,
even do it with school. See,
oh,
I
look
have
at
all
you.
my assignments for the week and I check them off as I get
I
each
love that you
chapter
use
done.
pen and paper too. I'm not the only one that has pen and paper.
Oh, I do. Yeah, I have lists galore.
If I put anything in my computer that like note wise and I save it, I can't find it again. I don't know where it went. So this is right in front of me. I know where it is, but my computer hides stuff. Um, let's see. Belinda would like to know, do you want to write any other genres besides the romantic suspense?
No, I don't think so. I started out thinking it was just romance with my first book, but then my editor said, no, there's some suspense in it because once again, there's somebody, the opening scene is there's somebody's after Francesca, the main character. So that's kind of how I fell into it.
Okay. All right. That makes sense. I want to put up Kamina's comment because it just made me chuckle. She says, this is about your school. Wow, I'm 64 and couldn't even start a college course now. So I just want to put that. I thought it was really cute.
Thank you. Yeah. I'm still,
Virgie Lane says, does your family read your books? And I'm going to add to that your partner and your son, because I know you have a son also. That's an adult.
yeah,
Do they read your book?
I'm sorry, my son refuses to read my books
Like mine.
because, yeah, I raised him, I was mom and dad. One of his girlfriends read my books and read him a passage, and he was like, "Oh my God, no!" He doesn't think mom even, holds hands.
Okay.
So he doesn't think mom should even be dating anybody because moms don't do that unless they're married. Um, People in my family, they're in my book. They're the characters in my book.
Right.
And they have
Oh,
given
okay.
permission. I've changed their names
Mm-hmm.
and I've added a few like little like extra, like made them certain characters a little extra in their traits. But yeah, they go around telling, my sister goes around telling everybody, oh yeah, I'm in this book, you got to read it. So
That's
yeah.
cool. That's great
Yeah.
advertising. And word of mouth is the best form of advertising.
Mm-hmm.
It really is. I mean, you can pay for advertising and everything, but me as a reader, when I really enjoyed a book, I have to let others know about it. I do. And word of mouth is the best. And it always has been, as far as I'm concerned. It really is the best form of advertising. Tammy Rass, about your schooling again, she says, I have a tendency to zone out and or get really sleepy in lectures. I could never make it through a class anymore. I think I would have that same problem too. Do you have to go
What?
through a lot of lectures and all this stuff that she's talking
Yeah.
about?
Well, what I did, because the classes I'm taking, we do turn. I do online classes, and the classes that I do, they do terms, or back in my day, they were called quarters. So I take 2 classes per term. So by the end of the semester, you have 4 classes. But the terms, it's accelerated. It's 16 weeks worth of coursework done in 8 weeks.
No, thank you.
And so the first week, I was like, it was half a chapter. I was like, oh yeah, piece of cake, I could do that. And then they kicked it in. Honeymoon phase was over. I I did a Zoom conference with my psychology professor. He said, do you think you would do better as an audiobook? I was like, it comes audiobook? So I read along as I listen, so it helps with the pace. And then I can stop and start. And he said, only do notes on the things that they have highlighted. And it's helped immensely.
Wow, that was great advice.
Yeah, it was. I
Wow.
do audiobooks a lot, which um, I before I was like, no. But now what I do is, if I have a long drive or I'm going to and from work to just de-escalate, de-stress,
Now,
listen to
how long
audiobook.
will you need to go to school to finish?
I have about 2 years, two and a
Oh,
half more
wow.
years left.
Well,
Well,
I
I got a
admire
little
your perseverance. Congratulations. Like I
thanks.
said, you're
Yeah.
never too old to start anything or complete something, or you're never too old.
No.
Question from Vicky. How do you celebrate when you finish a book?
It varies. Usually, this is going to sound, yeah, I go to my favorite, yeah, sweet thing I shouldn't eat much of and stuff. And now I got to do the non-dairy version. Uh,
Ice cream.
Ben and Jerry's Cherry Garcia is my favorite. I have that and a slice of carrot cake. And because I don't drink anymore, so yeah, that's what I do.
All right, that's awesome. I love it. I do. And I want to pop up Virgie's post. Well done, Virgie. She said, I think it's great you're going to college. I went to college at 53. So that is awesome. I love it. I love it, love
Congratulations.
it, love it. I want to just scroll down real quick. The cover. I got some comments on the cover. What a beautiful cover. Love the cover.
It's
What?
a real place, but I'm not allowed. I got permission. I kept passing this house on my way to work for like a year. And then when I decided in my mind, decided to do this book, I just went up and knocked on the door. Luckily, a lady answered the door. Ironically, it turned out her sister was an illustrator for children's books. And
Oh,
so we started that conversation, and they said, so long as you don't say where the house is, the address, anything like that,
that's pretty
you can
bold of
use
you to
the
go knock
house.
on someone's door and say, "Hey, I want to use your house." I mean, they must have been flattered. Number one, if someone came knocking,
Actually, he kind of laughed when I said, I'm sorry, but we're going to have to catch your house on fire. And he was like, what? And then I explained the plot of the story, and he was like, well, that sounds fun. So, yeah,
did they get a copy of the book?
yeah, I sent them a copy.
All right, that's awesome. That's really
Yeah.
cool. But just to go, hi, can I use your book? I like
I,
that.
I did that with Canary Nights. certain places
Mm-hmm.
because I used the town of Oak Ridge, Tennessee, and I moved it down the Appalachian Mountain to the fictitious town of Sanctuary, Georgia, which is actually where Helen, Georgia is, and went to different places that weren't there anymore. Now houses were, but I wanted to take a picture of like their backyard so that that way I could get the terrain correctly in
Right.
my descriptions. And people were like, I was there with my sister. She had a cane and I had a camera. So I guess they felt we
That's
weren't
perfect.
threatening
Yeah.
or anything.
Yeah,
And
I
we
remember
weren't
that
taking
cover.
a picture of their house. So,
That's cool. I love it. Connie also went back to college at a later age. She says, I went back to college at age 40. That was enough for me and got my degree. So there
congratulations.
we go. And I'm going to say a cheers to Camila because she likes my coffee mug. You are welcome. Cheers. With my gnomes on it. I love my gnomes. Scrolling on to, oh, you know what? I'm looking at the time. We're going to have a treat right now because you are going to read to us. So why don't
Yes.
I pause with the questions and you can let us know what you're going to read and I'll shut up.
Okay, I'm going to read from the last part of the prologue, the beginning of the book, that kind of there's stuff beforehand, but this kind of gives you an idea what's going on. And I also want to say thank you to the people at Tina's Read More Facebook page, because when I started writing this book, I wanted to shorten my character Isabella's name. And I said, give me a shortened version. And the majority came up with Ella instead of Bella. So thank you very much for that. So I went with the Bella.
Awesome.
Okay. Ella's thoughts returned to the present situation. Groceries were put away. She hustled up the back staircase to the second floor and hopped into the shower to wash off the stench of the turmoil. Ella dried off and threw on a long nightshirt. Her shoulder her shoulder length copper toned hair was pulled into a ponytail. The urge to quench her thirst gave Ella a reason to make a drink. She chose a warm cup of tea to enjoy in front of the unlit fireplace. Ella thought about the extent of damage of the Chadwick house and how much she should depend on Marcus. The heaviness of her eyelids was winning over. She dropped the cup in the kitchen and went to the bedroom upstairs. Ella had a habit of always having a fan in her room. She turned on the oscillating one beside the bed she had slept in during her childhood overnights at Grandma Young's. Her body hit the mattress and exhaustion prevailed in immediate comatose state. Ella was launched from her tranquil slumber by violent coughing. An unusual odor filled her nostrils, blocking her ability to breathe. She popped up, gasping for air. Ella stumbled out of bed and followed the smell in the hallway. Her awareness kicked in with the smoke ascending the main staircase from the living room. A clear escape wasn't available. She hustled towards the back staircase but froze with the sound of heavy footsteps. Ella attempted to enter one of the other bedrooms but was detoured by the piercing explosion of shattering windows from the intense heat. The intruder's presence was getting closer. The flames were expanding, prohibiting a reasonable exit. Ella crawled on the steps to the attic. She hoped to climb out one of those windows and slide down the roof. The smoke was overwhelming as it burned her eyes and increased the choking sensation. Ella was near the top, but the strong hands dragged her body down towards the second floor. The thickness of the air wouldn't allow a clear view of the assailant. Ella kicked into overdrive with each kick she gave the man. However, her lungs can no longer tolerate the abuse of the inferno. Ella blacked out, wondering who wanted to end her 35-year-old life.
Oh, intriguing. Very intriguing. Thank you so much. I love it.
You're welcome.
I love it. Belinda has a question. She wants to know, you say you plot your books. I'm a pastor. Do your characters talk to you like Tina's does?
All the time. As a matter of fact, with the sequel book of the first book, Journey, um, this one character, I know it sounds weird, he kept talking to me and saying, "You got to give me a backstory." And so I ended up adding 50 pages to the book.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, wow. Okay.
So he's in both books. He was in the original book, he was supposed to be an kind of a backstory for the main character, the main heroine, Francesca. But he just kept talking. I couldn't shut him up, and he ended up being in the sequel.
Oh, wow. And we got some comments coming up for your reading. Our readers love when the authors read from their work, but we got Kamina. She says, sounds very interesting.
Thank you.
Hold on, come on up. Come on, where'd you go? There we go. Oh, I already put that one up. Okay, hold on. Let me try again. Belinda, love the reading. Sounds good.
Thank
Connie
you.
says, thank you for the live read.
Thanks,
And
Connie.
then we have, my computer's not cooperating. Love the reading. Sounds good. And then we have, that sounds interesting. Are you currently working on a book right now?
Well, I kind of have, but it's going to have to wait till I get the degree because, as you know, it takes so much of your life to get a book out. But yeah, I did write an outline, the characters, and like every other week I go back and add a few more details. And I even came up with a working title. So we will see.
We will see, huh?
Yes,
Okay.
we decide.
So you are working on something, but it's slow going. Well, when you're going to school, you have a job.
Yeah,
There's only one of you.
that's why I say right now, no, I'm not working on a book, but it's kind of in the
It's a
making
slow
right now.
process. We
It's
can
not
only
a
do so
done
much.
deal, but it's kind of in the making.
Yeah. Okay. I was looking for a question that was hold on a second.
Oh,
There we
I
go.
did want to mention I forgot whose question it was. Said, I think it was Renee's. Have you been to any of the places that you write about? I've been to all of them.
Good for you. Doing the research, right?
Yeah, doing the research. And yeah, 2 years ago, I went to Cape Cod. And for Pub Week, I went to Cape Cod. And that was kind of neat because
I
for the
love Cape
past
Cod.
2 years, I got to meet all the people. It's surprising when you say you're writing a book and, meeting. I choose a subject I know nothing about.
You got
In
to go
this book,
research.
it was all about sailing. I know nothing about sailing. So I became friends with the harbor master at Hyannis Marina. And also, there is some I'd say, illegal activity going on. So I made friends with the police on the Cape and also this wonderful attorney, Mr. Richard. He was wonderful in Hyannis. And after 2 years of texting, email, talking on the phone, we finally got to meet in person. So
Oh, that's awesome. So you
that was really, and I, of course, gave him a copy, and they were very
did he
nice
take you out
about it.
on any boats when you were researching sailing? Did you go on any boats?
Yes, as a matter of fact, when I was up there, I went through, as they call it, the ACK, which my friend Patrick, who said write about the Cape, he sent me a list of Cape Cod lingo that I put into the book. And the ACK is basically where Nantucket, Cape Cod, and Martha's Vineyard all kind of meet in this area of water.
Like an
And
inlet?
so my friend Patrick and I, we spent a day of sailing. It was wonderful.
That's
It was a
cool. So
little chilly.
now you should go buy a boat and go sailing.
Yeah, well, I'm not quite in that
You'll
money
get there.
category yet, but
You'll get there.
hoping. Yeah, that's
There
what
you
I
go.
would love to do in my retirement. In fact, my partner and I, he's originally from Miami. He said what we're going to do in our retirement is we're going to go out on one of the docks in the Charleston area, and we're going to go spend our retirement years boating and fishing.
There you go.
Yeah.
You'll love it. You will love it. I'm going to scroll through some random questions for you. I like to get as
Okay, go
many
ahead.
questions as I can. I'm way back beyond where we're at right now. I'll catch up though. Belinda wants to know, do you know the title of your books before or after you finish writing the book? Or does it come to you while writing?
Um, Lately I've been knowing the title. Once I figured out what the book was going to be about, I've known the title. Now, the first book, I went completely with a different title because my original was, what was it? Yeah, it was The Day I Stopped Loving You.
That was the
After
original.
That was the original title. It's lyrics from, and I got her permission when I saw her in concert, a wonderful jazz singer, Alita Adams, who's one of my all-time favorites. She's been around for a couple of decades. Yeah, no, it was the day the world stops turning. That was it. Will
That
be
was
the
the
day I
original title.
stop loving you.
Okay, and then you
And so
changed it
that
to
was way too long. So we cut it to Don't Judge a Book, meaning don't
okay,
judge a book by its
right. Yeah.
cover.
Okay.
Because she meets the guy, the original online dating, except for it's done through the newspapers in the 1990s.
Okay. Okay, we have a question from Chiang. She says, did you find your characters or did the characters find you? That's an interesting question. I like that question.
Both. The main characters, I found them because they were based on people that I knew. Then the secondary characters kind of found me. Like I said, the one guy who was the background character who ends up being one of the main characters in the sequel and stuff, Kenny. Yeah, he found me, but the main characters, I find them.
Okay. I want to put this comment up because I have a question to go with it. But Kamina says, which made me laugh. I did start writing a fiction book, but I'm definitely a pantser. The characters drive me nuts, and I can relate to that. And how about you, Ashley? In the latest book you've written, is there any of your characters that drove you nuts while writing the book?
Brooke.
And can you tell me why?
Brooke, I had a lot of fun with. You have more fun with the devious characters, the ones who you're not sure if they're good or evil. And they might be good and just have evil traits. Those ones are kind of the ones that I think they're the more interesting, and they're the ones you can have the most fun with.
There you go. There you go. Laurie has a question. I'm just scrolling down. I'll catch up to the bottom in a minute. Laurie says, would you consider writing a book with your partner?
I kind of did.
Oh, you did? Which one?
Yeah, this book I kind of did with the AKA Shamar. He helped me write the male
Okay.
characters in this.
Well, that's cool. I like that.
Yeah, he didn't, he gave me like the basis of stuff, and I would do the writing and say, does this sound right? And then he would correct me. So he kind of, but he didn't want really the full credit. He said, no,
Okay,
you
he didn't
wrote
want the
the main
recognition.
stuff of it. But yeah, he helped me with this a lot.
Well, I like it that you work together too, and he shows you the support. So that's cool. I do like that.
He does, but he's
That's
very
pretty cool.
happy. The book is now over. Now he's helping me study psychology.
Right. Okay, another question from Kamina. She says, do you write your first draft on paper or go straight to the laptop?
50-50. I'll do the outline on paper, and then some of it, if I need a break, a change of environment, especially in the summer or a nice day, I go to the park or whatever. I don't bring my laptop there. I have a notebook with me. So I'd
Okay.
have to say kind of 50-50, and then I go back and copy everything on the laptop.
Okay. Now you say you're a plotter. When you're
Mhm.
writing your book, say like whatever, you're on chapter 5, chapter 10, whatever, do you go back and reread what you have written prior to sitting down and writing the next chapter or a paragraph? Do you have to go back and read a section before you go back in?
Yeah, I kind of fine tune the one chapter before I go over to the other chapter.
Okay.
And sometimes I might think of something to add and go, oh, you know what? That's not going to work. And I have to go back and edit a previous chapter to make
Oh,
it
wow.
fit.
See, I'm afraid to do that because then I'll just open up a can of worms. I
Yeah,
can't go
well,
back and edit.
not all the
I'll
time.
do, huh?
Not all the time, but
I can't do it.
sometimes, yeah, I get a thought or characteristic of a particular person, and I'll say, this is so them, or I'll observe something in real world and say, that would be great if this character could do it. And I will go and,
But
add in.
what I love is the variety of methods to writing a book that I have listened to when I've interviewed authors, that we all have our different ways of writing our books and getting to the end. And it's fascinating what works for me would not work for you, what works for you would not
Mm-mm.
work for me. I mean, there's some authors that will not move to the next chapter until the previous chapter is squeaky, squeaky clean.
No,
Even if it's going to go to the editor, she has to have it as good as she can get before she moves to the next chapter. And that's what works for her. But I just love hearing all the different methods of how we all get to the end of the book. I just do. There's so many different varieties of writing a book. It just fascinates me. Okay, Belinda wants to know, are animals in your books?
yes.
Oh, good. What kind of
Um,
animals you got?
well, um, actually, only the two books that are, you know, the original and the sequel. I based it on because everybody loved. I had a white Angora cat whose name was, because I love jazz music, Dizzy Gillespie. Dizzy Gillespie was in the book, but since then I haven't had any other animals.
Okay, so none in this book.
No, and the reason for that is I have rescue pets and everything, but the reason for that is the logistics, like leaving, poor little Spot at home while Ella goes and spends, 2 weeks on the Cape. Who's going to take care of the pet?
Yeah,
I think logically like that.
yeah, I hear you. I want to put this up for Renee. She says she's read 4 of your books, but you said you have 5. Can you just give us a rundown of all the titles you have out published?
Okay, I have Don't Judge a Book by Its Cover, and that was based on my journals. And then Crimson Moonlight, that was based on my parents meeting and love at first sight at a military ball. And yeah, my dad cut in on a dance when she had never done before and said, I'm going to marry that woman. And they were together. They were together 66 years and died 6 months apart at age 89.
Oh,
So I take that back. That one was a true romance. There's no suspense in that one. And then A Journey to Repentance, which is the sequel to Don't Judge a Book. And then Canary Nights was the fourth. And then this one, which is Repressing the Flames, is the
okay, so
fifth.
that's 5 titles. So Renee,
Yes.
there you go. There's the 5 titles, and I'm sure now you know which one you're missing. Cheyenne wants to question. The question is, what is a fun fact, or what is one of your fun facts that is less known to the readers? Something
Fun
that we
fact.
don't know about you. That's a good question.
I think. Okay. I did costume designing off Broadway.
Oh wow, that's a huge little secret
Yeah,
there.
and I was one of the costumers. This shows my age on the Canadian tour for a chorus line.
Oh wow, that's fabulous. That's a nice
Yeah,
little
that was
secret.
in my previous life, of
But
BA,
hey,
as I say, before Alexander, before kids and everything else, and married. So yeah.
now we know you go to school, you do work. But Janet wants to know how many hours a day do you squeeze into your full days as it is now? Do you write every day?
I'd say right now, every other day. If I'm working on a book, I'm writing every day.
Okay. Okay. No matter, you don't have a set time though, do you? Do you write at the same time every day, or do you just pop it in when you're done?
I usually I do most I seem to do most of my writing when like I have a work day in the evenings. That
Okay.
like helps me, I won't say de-stresses me, but that calms me down because I'll complete an action that the characters are doing and then I'm like, okay, good. They're all right. Let me go rest.
Oh, there you go. And then just to add to that answer, Dana wants to know, do you have a certain amount of words you writing a day? Do you set yourself a goal when you sit down and write, or you just write?
My goal is to finish, since I do outlines, plotting. I want to finish out whether it's a chapter or a scene. I want to finish that out.
Okay, so you don't leave it in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, like with Repressing the Flames, there's this one chapter, it has basically 3 scenes in it. So I wanted to make sure each scene was done and then I'm okay and then I'll come
Then move
back.
on. Then move
Yes.
on. And still with your writing techniques, Lori wants to know music or no music when writing.
Definitely music. As a matter of fact, I have one of the old fashioned behind me. Can't see it, but record players. And I play my albums from the 60s, 70s, and 80s that I have.
Now your music has lyrics.
Some of them do.
Yeah, see, I can't write when if there's singing
It
songs,
depends
and
what I'm writing.
I can play music, but no lyrics. It just has to be music for
Yeah,
me.
like my love scenes and stuff. My For this book, it was Carole King and Luther Vandross. Don't know
Oh wow.
why. And then for the sailing scenes, of course, Chris, Christopher Cross, sailing. Anything
Wow.
that had to do with water songs motivated me.
Okay. Okay. Um, Final question. I have to keep a close eye on the time because if I go over an hour, I can't upload the interview to Instagram or the other places where I
Oh,
like to
okay.
share it. So the final, and it always goes by really quick. Um, but final question is what, and I think Renee asked this, it might have been Belinda, but what advice would you give to an aspiring writer that would like to become published?
Go join groups. Join join lots of book clubs because a lot of the people in the book clubs are already published writers, and that's where you'll get your connections, whether in-person book club from your library or online and just Google book clubs, authors, whatever. A lot of them, like Tina, have podcasts and everything else, and authors are so willing to help other
Yeah.
authors.
It's a fabulous community that, yeah, if you're an aspiring writer, get involved. Seriously, get
Mm-hmm.
involved. That's how we met in the book
Mm-hmm.
community. It
Yeah, we
really is.
met during COVID. Yep.
And the other, yeah. And the other thing I want to say too, because I never get to all of these questions. I wish I could. If I made the show 2 hours long, I might be able to do that. But if you have time, I know we're all busy, but if you can go to my author page, Tina Hogan Grant author, that's me, on Facebook, and just scroll through. And I know there's questions that we didn't get to. If you want to answer them,
Okay,
we
no
can start
problem.
that. And the giveaway, if you want to tell our readers what the giveaway is.
It's going to be a personalized autographed copy of Repressing the Flames.
Perfect. And I will go ahead and pick the winner in a couple of hours. I'll announce it in the group and on my author page. I will tag you, Ashley. I should say also the Ashley Cobb Post is your pen name. You also can be found online as Katie Filipponi. Was I saying it right? Mursky?
Filippone Mursky.
Okay. And I did see a question there from Renee, which we don't have time to answer, but if you find it in my author page, she's asking, how did you choose your pen name? And that's something I would love to know. If you can answer that through the comments, that would be interesting. But again, Ashley, thank you so much for joining me. It's been a
Thank you very
fabulous
much,
chat as
Tina.
always. And I will tag you and email you when I have a winner. Okay.
Okay, great. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much for joining us and the great questions. I'll see you back in the group. And everyone have a great night. Thank you again, Ashley. Good night.